Hello everyone, and welcome back to Aetherfall, my dream idea for a post-apocalyptic fantasy RPG game. Today, I'm going to talk about something kind of controversial that I think should be added to the game: stress. One thing I always found potentially immersive breaking in RPG games is the lack of self-care that's required for your player. Games in the genre oftentimes fall into being simply about looting and killing, with everything else taking a major backseat. While I will admit that killing is most people's favorite component, I think a good RPG game would balance these moments of tension with peaceful moments of exploration, dialogue, and other things in between. Without those moments, and those moments being done well, an RPG becomes a shooter game like Doom. Doom is a great game, but it doesn't masquerade as a deep character-built adventure. Instead, an RPG should be exactly that, a role-playing game. As usual, I won't go into big specifics of how stress would work in-game, as the mechanic would rely on many other components that need to be fleshed out first. However, in a nutshell, stress would factor in things such as how long you've gone without eating or drinking, whether or not you're injured, and the number of tense moments you've been in recently, i.e. being in combat. As these effects accumulate, they will put negative stat changes on you, such as slower movement and weaker attacks. NPCs will comment on your tiredness, for example. This effect should also affect companions, meaning you can't just run your allies into the ground, or totally run them into the ground if you want to be that kind of person. Companions that, say, don't have very good personal relationships with you may leave if they're being treated too harshly, while those that love and respect you will be willing to push themselves to greater stress levels. You won't have to be some kind of total babysitter for your allies, however, as when entering a town, there should be an option to let companions just do their thing, essentially turning them loose for a period of time. The companion will do what they like, gather supplies with the money they've earned from quests, and relax with whatever activities they find enjoyable, until you're ready to head out. This simple mechanic could do wonders to make companions feel like real people. As I mentioned, activities are a critical part to the stress cycle, adding a way to counteract the stresses incurred on you. A great example of non-combat activities can be seen in the game Red Dead Redemption 2. Players can drink at bars, play cards, take baths, eat fish, and ride on horses through the countryside. These peaceful activities make the game feel beautifully tranquil when you aren't gunning down rival gangs. Adding in a variety of activities that you can choose from help flesh out who your character really is and what they like to do. Perhaps they're a gambler who loves to make money on cards, or an extrovert that just needs the company of others, or you're just someone that needs a fireplace and a good book. By adding a stress mechanic, players will stop and take the time to enjoy the world crafted by developers. New activities besides the one previously mentioned could be working on the crafting trees, playing or listening to music, or using specific angelic or mind magic, though these magical options should be limited in their effectiveness. Before I leave this topic, I'll address that not everyone will want to have to worry about stress in their game when they're already attempting to avoid stress in real life by playing. So the feature of stress, as well as hunger, sleep, and water, should be allowed to be turned off by the player when they start the game, like Fallout 4's survival mode, which was met with great praise. However, one thing I think that can be tweaked from Fallout 4 is that these survival mechanics only existed on the hardest difficulty. In Aetherfall, I think that there should be two different game settings, one for the world difficulty, i.e. how much damage enemies do and how much you can do, as well as one for survival difficulties, i.e. whether or not there's mechanics such as stress, hunger, and thirst. Adding two different difficulty tweaks isn't unheard of, as it's often done in Fire Emblem games, which have a permadeath system and a difficulty system that you can tweak separately. Thus, if explained effectively to players, having two difficulty systems would work wonders for allowing every player to have the gaming experience they desire. So, what do you all think? This idea is a bit more out there, as I'm not sure if many RPGs currently use this or a similar mechanic. Would you want to use stress in the game? Let me know in the comments below. But that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, as well as subscribing to see more Aetherfall content. This has been Brian, and I hope to see you all for next time. Bye for now.